Our gathering song for the month of August is number 1010, We Give Thanks. Please rise in body or in spirit. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society. It is wonderful to see you all here this morning. I'm Kara Beauchamp. I'm a member of this congregation and a worship associate. I'm a 60-year-old white woman with white hair, and my pronouns are she and her. Our service this morning is led by Gail Garwood, a member of UUS. Our minister, the Reverend Diana Smith, will return to the pulpit next Sunday. At UUS, we love that our congregation is made of people of many ages, genders, races, sexual orientations, classes, abilities, and health statuses. We invite you to bring your whole self to this place and to be present in this moment as you are able. We are glad that you are here. As Unitarian Universalists, we are guided by the shared principles, sources, and values of our living religious tradition. This morning, our service focuses on our values of pluralism, transformation, and interdependence as we contemplate treating ourselves and others with compassion. We give thanks for this land and all who have cared for it over the centuries, particularly the Kickapoo, the Iowa, the Sauk, and the Meskwaki, and the Osheti-Shakawan nations. If doing something with your hands during worship services helps you, we invite you to visit the soul work table outside the sanctuary doors and pick up something to work with. If you're newer to our congregation, we invite you to learn more about us after the service. For those here in person, you can talk to a greeter at the welcome table. For those online, there is a link to a visitor form in the YouTube notes that will let you connect with us. Our call to worship this morning is by the Reverend Seth Carrier-Ladd. Wind that whispers through the willow trees, sun that sustains us, water that washes over willing earth and weathered stones, a smile shared and savored, a child's squeal of delight as she dances in the daisies and daffodils, the quiet joy of gathered community. This is the spirit of life and love that we call forth now into this gathering. May this spirit infuse our hearts, fill our souls, and carry us forward like a wave on the ocean as we enter now into this sacred time and space. Come, let us worship together.
Our opening hymn this morning is number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Source of all, to thee we raise this
This our hymn of grateful praise, for the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise, for the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise, for the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Our flaming chalice symbolizes the illuminating power of community, the enduring flame of hope, and the unyielding commitment to justice and equality. As it burns brightly, it reminds us of our shared responsibility to foster warmth, compassion, and unity in our world. Through its flickering flames, we find the strength to advocate for a more just and inclusive society where every individual is embraced and celebrated for their unique contribution to the tapestry of humanity. Please join me in saying our chalice lighting words as Rory lights our chalice. Can you help her? Are you good? Okay. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the wonder and mystery of this great gift. So let us now kindle the flame of our liberal religious heritage and renew our covenant of mutual love and care. Love is our doctrine, the quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge, and to serve those in need. This we promise, this we covenant with life and one another. We also light a candle for justice and healing to acknowledge the injustices that persist in our world. This Labor Day weekend, we reflect on the impact of Frances Perkins, who served as Secretary of Labor under Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression. As the first woman to serve in a U.S. cabinet, Perkins directed the creation of the Social Security Act, which provides for Social Security benefits and unemployment insurance. She also helped establish the federal minimum wage, maximum work hours, child labor regulations, and the right of workers to organize and bargain collectively. She also created the Immigration and Naturalization Service with the goal of humanizing the treatment of immigrants. As we light this candle, let's hold a time of silence to reflect on what is at stake if we give up on Frances Perkins' vision of the role the government can play or should play in improving the lives of workers and retirees in our country. May this candle inspire us to work tirelessly for equity, to stand up against discrimination, and to be agents of positive change.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Leah Kaminsky. I'm the RE coordinator here at UUS. I am a tall white woman, and I'm wearing a long floral flowy dress today. And I use she, her pronouns. Nick Kaplan, our director of Lifespan Religious Education, is taking their first Sunday off since May. So I'll be sharing with you a time for all ages that they wrote. Go touch grass. To a room full of adults, Gen X or more experienced, who find deep importance in connecting with nature, many people in this room might hear that phrase with a different tone and meaning than if the phrase were uttered or typed by someone from Gen Z or Gen Alpha. Today, the phrase, go touch grass, has become an insult of sorts, an admonishment for spending too much time online and disconnected from reality. It's usually not meant to carry the sincere advice to ground ourselves that would actually be wonderful for more of us to follow more often. With all the advice that people of all ages follow from the internet and other forms of media, the act of going outside and building a stronger, deeper connection with the world around us would be good for everyone. As far as the advice frequently and freely given on the internet goes, this piece of advice is actually great. Go touch grass. Connect to the world around you, literally. For quite a while, many people have thought of grounding or earthing as hooey, something that only has minor benefits and primarily not something grounded in science. However, there is quite a bit of research to show that being barefoot in the grass, touching dirt, laying on the sand, or simply sitting in nature and touching a tree can help our minds and bodies. Things like improved blood flow, a boosted immune system, reduced stress, improved sleep at night, and more. It's worth a minute or more of your day to touch some grass. Touching grass isn't the only thing we can do to ground ourselves. There are other ways that we can reap the benefits of connecting to the world around us. Try this method with me now, and then see if you can find time every day for a week to do it outside with either your hands or feet connected to the earth. Let me or Nick know next week if you try it. But first, we'll try this grounding method right here, right now. No grass needed. Look around. What are 5 things you can see? For instance, I see beautiful trees, the reflection coming from the windows, the lights illuminating onto me, all of your beautiful, wonderful faces, and the children, both in the RE Commons and near me in the front. Now, what are 4 things you can feel? Close your eyes if you need to, so that you can feel the sensation of your shirt or chair or cushion under you. I feel the pulpit, the papers I am reading off of, the feeling of my dress. Listen carefully to the room you are in, whether you are here in the sanctuary, in the RE Commons, or watching this virtually. What are 3 things you can hear? I hear a little bit of the building settling. I hear the sound of small fidgets moving in children's hands, and the sound of chairs squeaking as they move. Take a deep breath in through your nose. What are 2 things that you can smell? I smell the soap on my hands, the lotion on my arms. Now, often for a grounding exercise like this, people would often have you name one thing you can taste to complete the 5 senses. However, in grounding ourselves today and for the rest of this week, I want you to remember that you are a part of the nature around you. You are important and wonderful. So now, in your mind, I want you to say one thing you love about yourself. Close your eyes and put your hands over your heart or give yourself a little hug. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. In the time it takes you to ground yourself in the world around you, I guarantee you will begin feeling the benefits. Go touch grass. Each week when they head to classes, our children light a lantern as a symbol of the love and hope that goes with them as they explore our faith. Children, youth, and teachers, please come forward as Judy lights our lantern from our chalice. Let's all join in singing Be Open as children, youth, and teachers head to religious education.
Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Aye.
Hello, I'm Gail Garwood, and I'll introduce myself later. But right now, I'm going to read a guided imagery for the meditation part for creating a safe place. So, if you want to close your eyes, that's up to you. So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, allow your body to begin relaxing. With each slow inhale, imagine fresh, calming energy filling you, and with every exhale, feel yourself releasing any tension, stress, or worries. Now gently bring your awareness inward. Imagine warm wave of relaxation flowing through the top of your head, washing down through your forehead, your temples, softening your jaw and relaxing your neck. Let this feeling continue down your shoulders, melting away any tension. Feel your arms growing heavier, your hands completely at ease. Let the warmth spread through your chest and back, releasing any tightness. Your stomach softens, your hips relax, and this soothing wave continues down through your legs, all the way to the tips of your toes. With every breath, you sink deeper into comfort, deeper into peace. Now, in your mind's eye, begin to imagine yourself standing in a place where you feel completely safe, comfortable, and at ease. This can be anywhere: a quiet beach with soft golden sand, a peaceful garden with colorful flowers, a cozy cabin in the mountains, or even a place from your past that holds beautiful memories. It could also be a place entirely of your imagination, created just for you. Take a moment to observe your surroundings. What do you see? Look around and notice every detail. The colors, the textures, the way the light falls gently over everything. If you are on a beach, you might see the shimmering blue waves rolling in and out. the golden glow of the sun reflecting off the water, and seagulls gliding peacefully above. If you are in a forest, you may see towering trees with lush green leaves, sunlight filtering through the branches, and tiny wildflowers scattered across the soft earth. Perhaps you are in a garden where the petals of vibrant flowers gently sway in the breeze and a quiet fountain bubbles nearby. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in and notice the scent of the air around you. Is it the salty, fresh breeze of the ocean, the earthy, rich aroma of the forest, the sweet fragrance of blooming flowers? Let this scent fill you with a sense of comfort and serenity. Now listen carefully. What do you hear? Do you hear the rhythmic crashing of waves as they kiss the shore? The rustling of leaves as the wind dances through the trees? A soft trickle of a nearby stream? Perhaps there's a different sound of birds singing their gentle morning song, or the comforting cackle of a fire keeping you warm. Let these sounds surround you, deepening your relaxation and grounding you in this peaceful place. Now reach out and touch something nearby. Feel the texture beneath your fingertips. Maybe it's the warmth of smooth sand slipping through your hands, the roughness of the tree bark under your palm, or the softness of cool grass beneath your feet. Take a moment and truly feel the presence of this place. You are safe here. You are at peace. There is nothing to worry about, nothing to do. Just be here in this moment, fully present and relaxed. Now find a place to rest. Maybe there's a comfortable hammock swaying gently in the breeze, a soft blanket spread out on the grass, or a smooth rock warmed by the sun. Settle into this spot, allowing yourself to feel completely at ease. Close your eyes for a moment and simply be. Feel the warmth of this space embracing you like a protective cocoon. Imagine that every inhale fills you with calm energy, and every exhale releases anything that no longer serves you. Take a moment to reflect. What is it about this place that makes me feel so safe and so at peace? Is it the familiarity, the stillness, the beauty, or something deeper? Know that this safe place is always here for you. No matter what happens in the outside world, you can always return to the sanctuary within your mind. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or tired, simply close your eyes and find your way back. Now, as you begin to prepare to leave this space, take a moment to express gratitude. Gratitude for this place, for the peace it brings, and for the time you have given yourself to rest and recharge. Slowly begin to bring awareness back to your physical surroundings. Feel the surface beneath you, the rhythm of your breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes, gently waking up your body. Take one final breath in, and as you exhale, carry this feeling of calm with you. Now, when you're ready, slowly open your eyes, feeling refreshed, safe, and deeply at peace. Remember, this sanctuary is always within you. You can return anytime you need. This is and she's going to be leading the song that we're going to sing and another song later. And I'm just going to say, here she is.
Hello.
I don't know if I need to introduce you more, but
That's okay. Yep, my name's Karen Charney, and Gail invited me. I use she, her pronouns. Very happy to be here. The words are going to be up on the screen, but I'll just teach the song in two different parts, and you'll get it. It's called Lay Back in the Arms of Love. So when I do this, I'll sing, and when I do that, you'll join, okay? Lay back in the arms of love. 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 And the second part. Rest back in the arms, you are safe from harm. Lay back in the arms of love. Rest back in the arms, you are safe from harm. Lay back in the arms of love. And this is something called a zipper song. So there are 4 words we might zipper in. Are those going to go up on the screen? Okay, cool. So let's sing that, okay? Here we go. Lay back in the arms of love. Lay back in the arms of love. Rest back in the arms, you are safe from harm. Lay back in the arms of love. I think we'll do peace. Lay back in the arms of peace. Lay back in the arms of peace. Rest back in the arms, you are safe from harm. Lay back in the arms of peace. And if you know how to throw in harmonies, feel free. Lay back in the arms of being. Lay back in the arms of being. Rest back in the arms, you are safe from harm. Lay back in the arms of being. And finally, lay back in the arms of calm. Lay back in the arms of calm. Rest back in the arms, you are safe from harm. Lay back in the arms of calm.
Our first reading is The Cry of Dualism by Barbara Brennan. If you find yourself in believing in a particular dualistic threat, remember that it is only the dualistic reality within you crying out to be seen, to be heard, and to be attended to. Bring your conscious awareness to that place within you that cries out for union, connection to self, and that yearns to be experienced, witnessed, and recognized as love. For wherever there is dualism within you, Wherever there is unsolved experience, it is simply where you have not recognized yourself as love.
Hi there. My name is Gail Garwood, and I've been a member at UUS since 1992-ish. I haven't been attending services as often now, but my heart is always with UUS and all the purpose that, the greater purpose. Okay, so she, her are my pronouns. I'm a big fan of these lay sermons. I considered doing one for many years. However, it wasn't until I heard one is about nature that I just jumped on it, because you'll figure it out once I start telling you my story more. So the sermon touches on the UU principles, acceptance of one another, and spiritual growth, and finding meaning and purpose. It reflects on my spiritual journey of ahas and revelations, involving what I've learned also as a therapist. It will conclude with some ideas of improving your connection with nature or yourself more deeply. Yeah, perhaps. I'll just say that. Okay, some find it challenging to hear the mention of God due to its many connotations and diverse interpretations. If you're one of those people that have a difficult time with the G word, God, please just be patient with me. I understand that some of you might not believe in God, and since the sermon is about my spiritual journey, I need to start with where I was as a teenager in a religion class when I first began examining my beliefs from a different state of awareness. So I want to reflect on an experience I had in high school in a religion class when I started questioning my spiritual beliefs. Attending 11 years of Catholic school, you think I would know or have a clear understanding what God is. And then one day during the class, I raised my hand and asked the teacher during a question and answer part of the class, well, what is God? And her answer just surprised me. She said, pretty much, shut up and sit down. And I was like, I think she thought I was being defiant or something, but I was really serious. And for many years, I just was adrift. I didn't know what that meant. So this left me researching, or not in reality, but somewhere in the back of my head. So many people in religion spend a great time with this concept. It wasn't until I began meditating in my early 20s when I found some answers. So my spiritual teacher at the time, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, wrote a book titled Love and God. In it, I'm going to quote him here, he said, "The divinity of heaven dwells in the hearts as love. Love in the heart of man is the shrine of God on earth." He also said that personal love is concentrated universal love. The ocean of universal love flows in the streams of individual love. Let me repeat that, because that was a lot. Okay, so the divinity of heaven dwells in the hearts as love. Love in the heart of man is the shrine of God on earth. Personal love is concentrated universal love. The ocean of universal love flows in the streams of individual love. He also noted that love is fullness, it is all-embracing. It knows no discord. Disunity is foreign to love. Disharmony is foreign to love. Love is purity. Love is innocence. Love is fullness, oneness, and bliss. It brings fulfillment. Love unifies the scattered ends of life and brings them all together into an integrated whole. What I took away from this quote is God is love, oneness, and bliss. Fullness, oneness, and bliss. And the peace I found in meditation was demonstrating this belief. This theme, this belief, is found throughout my spiritual journey. It is the basis of my spirituality. So additionally, Maharishi delineated a couple of concepts that explain the difference between when we are in our thoughts and living on the surface of life, and when we transcend those thoughts and our being. He refers to when we're in our thoughts and on the surface of life as the relative. In the relative, there is duality. Then there is being. He refers to this as the absolute. There is no duality here, simply unity. He believed that being, which happens when you transcend thought, is a fourth state of consciousness beyond waking, dreaming, and sleeping. This insight, along with my studies into the Native American and Buddhist philosophies, started my equating being with nature with a capital N, because this is how I felt when I walked there. This was demonstrated to me even before I began meditation, when as a teenager I would take these long walks on a frozen lake. I knew if I walked long enough, the agitated parts of myself would settle down and I would be left in a calm place where I would come upon solutions to my problems. I eventually reached a crossroad in my life, however, where sitting in the silence of meditation was not enough. I began feeling unfulfilled. Sitting in the silence had been fulfilling, but I wasn't creating anything meaningful in my life outside of meditation. I lacked a job I enjoyed or a life purpose that brought fulfillment and meaning into my life. Eventually, I ended up attending college, finishing a BA with a major in psychology and a master's program in counseling. I found great interest in understanding human nature and what makes it work, particularly how we get out of our own way and create a life with more joy and fulfillment. Years later, I found a therapy called Internal Family Systems, or IFS, that I could use with myself and my clients. IFS was a map into human nature. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was also a way of introducing spirituality into therapy. Show of hands, how many people know what IFS is? Cool. Okay, for those of you who don't, I will be giving a little introduction into how this is a spiritual practice. So IFS talks about parts and calming parts so that self can lead. So if you've never heard of IFS, you may be asking yourself, what does she mean by parts and what's self? So without getting too technical or too detailed about the therapy, I'll explain a little more about parts. Parts are running our daily life. There are those parts that carry wounds from being hurt in the past, and some of the emotions might be sad, rejected, abandoned, and then there's those parts that manage things and try to preempt those hurt parts from taking over or from getting re-triggered. And then think about like a taskmaster that makes sure you have your work done so you don't lose your job, or caregivers or boundary setters. And then there are parts that are reactive and try to get rid of the threat and soothe the internal system after it's been triggered. So that could be like anger, fantasy, addictive behaviors, or soothing behaviors, or anything to suicidal ideation. So I would consider parts to be what Maharishi refers to as a relative. They experience duality. You may have a part that holds one belief and another that holds the exact opposite belief. For instance, a part of me wants to be more physically active, but another part of me might want to just sit here and do nothing. Or a part of me might want to hang out with a certain person or group, and another part is uncomfortable doing that. So underlying these parts that are running our daily life and always in the background is self or being. Maharishi called it the absolute. When parts are taking over the system, there is little to no access to self. Self is present when the different parts of ourselves settle down. So you may be asking, so what is self? So Think of how you feel when you gaze at a sunset, or maybe that beautiful day you're looking at. Or maybe a starry night or a mountain scene. How does that feel for you? Some may feel a sense of peace or calm or awe. This is somewhat like what self feels like. So when you're in self, you're naturally caring, compassionate, curious, calm, connected, courageous, confident, creative, and you have clarity. So all it takes is for the parts to calm down, and that's what you're left with. So my path to finding free therapy in nature didn't stop there. More information came my way and added yet another dimension to explain why we go out of unity and into duality. What I discovered explained how our internal system works and why we get angry and anxious, feel shame, and become critical of ourselves and others. I discovered something called the polyvagal system and its impact on us. So, what is the polyvagal system, and what does it have to do with spirituality? Trying not to be too technical here, again, I'll simply say that this system governs the automatic functions of the body which impact our responses. It is our fight, flight, or freeze response when we sense danger. Stephen Porges, the man who developed the polyvagal theory, coined a term called neuroception. Basically, it describes how the automatic or autonomic nervous system takes in information without involving the thinking parts of the brain. So the autonomic nervous system responds to signals of welcome and warning from either inside our bodies or outside in the environment around us or in our relationships between ourselves and others. In fact, we have a 2-second warning for danger or perceived threat before our amygdala gets activated. The amygdala is a reactive part of the brain, and it's sometimes called the primitive brain or the monkey brain. I don't know why. But when triggered, the adrenaline and cortisol are released, and it used to be more like a threat to our physical being, and now it's more like a threat to our self-image or our self-concept. So feeling threatened puts stress on the mind and the body. If this becomes chronic, it can lead to anxiety and depression. So when part of the autonomic nervous system goes offline, when the autonomic nervous system is online, let's go there first, we have the ability to co-regulate, to self-regulate, to connect with self, others, the world, and spirit. We turn into the moment and turn out distractions. We are resourceful. We reach out for and offer support. We are compassionate to others and to ourselves. We explore options, are flexible, resilient, and we have hope. It is our story of connection, communication, and possibilities. So once danger is perceived, the system starts to go offline. And we are now in a polarized world. We become alarmed and hypervigilant. We pay attention to danger. We miss and misread signs of safety. Did you miss and misread signs of safety? And we experience disrupted connection from self, other, the world, and spirit. It is a story of an unsafe world and unsafe people. Or we just simply shut down. Deb Dana, who is an expert in this field and who I've taken some of this information from, has a quote. She says, "This," which by this she means treating ourselves or others poorly, "is not a cognitive choice. It is a biological one. Your nervous system is making it for you. It is not that I'm unwilling to engage, to be present, and to talk to you. I'm biologically unable to, not unwilling, unable." So now, what happens when you turn fight, flight, or freeze response inward? I thought this information was really helpful because we don't realize that we are in fight, flight, or freeze, and we're turning it inward. So when you have the fight response, you go into self-criticism. When you have the flee response, you do isolation. And when you have the freeze response, you ruminate. And so these are the opposite of self-compassion. So what would be a better way or a remedy to those three? So if it's self-criticism, it would be self-kindness. If it's isolation, it would be called common humanity, which I'll tell you about that later, what that means. And then if it's ruminating, it'd be mindfulness, like bringing yourself back to the present moment. So could deactivating the threat defense system and activating the care system be similar to calming the parts so self can lead? You may be wondering what I found as a remedy to going offline. So since we are in our amygdala, when our polyvagal system is offline, we are not in the cognitive parts of the brain. Trying to get our autonomic nervous system back online may take something somatic or physical versus cognitive, like breath work or soothing touch. Luckily, we have a care system, and it can activate oxytocin, which is a love hormone, and endorphins, which is a feel-good opiates. This helps reduce the stress and increase feelings of safety and security. So, ways of activating this care system are soothing touch and gentle vocalizations. Like think of a cat purring or licking her kittens. So being compassionate towards ourselves helps us downregulate this threat. The safer we feel, the safer I feel, the more open I can be in response to my environment. And this is reflected in greater heart variability and lower cortisol levels in response to stimuli. So the goal of doing IFS is calming and healing wounded parts so self can lead. And the goal of meditation, transcending thought so there's more moments of being, have a similar outcome to walking in nature, which also coincides with how to calm the fight, flight, freeze response, which would be finding your stillness or your silence. So Deb Dana also said that the benefits of stillness are to include improved memory and cognition, cardiovascular and respiratory stabilization, stress relief, increased access to new ideas and perspectives. That's why I titled this sermon, or whatever you want to call it, this reflection, Finding Free Therapy in Nature. Walking in nature is a very good way to access the silence or the stillness. However, this method does not work for everyone. Some people might find it as a cue of danger. So I'll introduce other things as well. So building an awareness about how your system is acting and reacting is a start. And noticing when you're triggered, if you feel safe or danger, or if those words don't work for you, you can find other words. But here are some ideas for finding the silence. Cute. You're going to put it up on there. There are some ideas. And I'm trying to keep my time short, so I don't want to go over them all. So walking in nature, the grounding and the safe place we already did today, so you already have two of them right there. Mindfulness, like with anxiety, it's about the future, so bring yourself back to the present moment. So exercise, meditation, yoga, abdominal breathing. So actually, breath is the fastest way to get the autonomic nervous system to calm. And when we're frightened, we take in a sharp in-breath, like that's opposite of calm. And so the in-breath should be through your nose, and it should be shorter than the out-breath. So 4 in and 7 out, like the 7 outs through your mouth. If that 4 and 7 doesn't make sense to you, you might try like the image of smelling a flower, and then blowing out, and I'm going to say your birthday candles, because then it'll be like a longer out breath. Okay. So I want to end this reflection with this poem by Sarah Jeffries. To find the song of belonging, listen. Sit quietly with the being you meet, with flower, mountain, river, wind. Let them begin the conversation. Let them warm the coldest caverns of your body with ancient remembering. Let them find you. Let them sing within the living presence of your heart your song of belonging. Let yourself become nobody for a time. To get lost and disappear into the woods till the moss and the moist soil sings within you. Realizing you are never the song, but the one being sung. Thank you.
We have a concluding reading called The Unified Field of Love, also by Barbara Brennan. For generations, there have been traditions labeling love, boxing it away into impossible, imagined, or illusory safe containers. But we suggest to you that if you tune in ever so carefully and silently into your interior, what you will find is a unified field of love. It is only through the unified field of love that you can begin to experience self, to become awake and aware of self, surrendered to this love in your own personal way. It may be to feel this love throughout the entire sounding board of all of your life experiences, or it may be to simply focus into your heart. It may be to hold a newborn child. It may be to hold hands with a loved one, watching a sunset, or just lying in bed reading. It may be to sit at the bedside of a lifelong friend as they go through the dying process. You will know what I mean about the entry into the deeper self if you begin to label it as love. It is love that is experienced through all of these occasions. Love heals so simply, so gently, because it brings you to the wholeness of self, to your uniqueness. We have a closing hymn that Karen is going to share with us.
Wow, this is great. This last song talks about nature as well, touching down the earth, breathing in the sky, opening up to the water, and sometimes jumping into the fire. We're going to do this as a round, and I'll, we'll probably just do like that side will be one part, and this side will be one part. But we'll first learn it. I'll sing it first. 4 lines. Touch down the earth, breathe in the sky, open up to the water, jump into the fire. Touch down the earth, breathe in the sky, open up to the water, jump into the fire. Now this is an amazing room, so much openness, and it's going to feel fun to have a round. So this part will start, and after the word sigh, this part. Touch down the earth, breathe in the sky, touch down to the earth, breathe in the sky, open up to the water.
sharing those songs with us. As we come together in the spirit of unity and love, we acknowledge the importance of supporting the community that nurtures us. To support our programs, our outreach efforts, and this inspiring space, members of this congregation make and fulfill annual pledges. In addition, this congregation also donates generously to organizations in the community whose work aligns with our values and principles. The offering this month will be split among 3 nonprofits which support immigrants: the Immigrant Welcome Network, Escucha Mi Voz, and the Equitable Local Lending Initiative. David Goodner is here this morning to tell us about Escucha Mi Voz.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for inviting me today. Thank you for the invitation. Just to credential myself really quick, so I'm from Iowa City. The formative experiences in my life were my parents' divorce when I was 2 years old, my mom's remarriage when I was 10, and as a young adult, 9/11 and the war in Iraq. I was working at the time in 2001 at an entry-level job making $10 an hour and was feeling exploited in the workplace. Tried to start a union, failed miserably, lost my job, and went back to school. Studied human rights at the University of Iowa. I traveled to Colombia, where I witnessed protective accompaniment for the first time in a war zone, and became a community organizer, organizing family farmers around clean air and clean water. Traveled across the state for 5 years. In 2015, I came back to Iowa City, and my partner Emily and I founded the Catholic Worker House. The mission is Matthew 25, the works of mercy. What you do to the least of these, you do to me. During the first Trump administration, we started housing refugee families, sponsoring them over the border, helping them resettle and rebuild their lives in Iowa. And during the pandemic, our work exploded. And to give immigrants a voice and more democratic say in the organization, we spun off the Catholic Worker to Escucha Mi Voz, which is an immigrant-led group that has over 700 dues-paying members now. I think the scriptural mission statement of Escucha Mi Voz would be Luke 4:18, preaching good news to the poor, bringing liberation to the captives and sight to the blind. I'll tell you some things that you probably already know. This year, we've seen a tremendous escalation in detentions and deportations under the new administration. You know, our day-to-day work is helping immigrants access legal aid, access housing and healthcare systems navigation, transportation, getting their kids enrolled in school, helping them obtain a work permit and starting work. But we do a lot of protective accompaniment and a lot of deportation defense. 3 stories that I can share with you quickly. Some of these you may have heard, but a young man in West Liberty named Pascual Pedro came to this country from Guatemala when he was 13 years old. This was during the first Trump administration. He was placed in expedited removal the day that he arrived, but was given a conditional release, a supervised release. Grew up in West Liberty, was a soccer star in high school, confirmed at the local Catholic church, graduated and was working construction with his grandfather, going to his check-ins like he was supposed to. He had a work permit like he was supposed to. And when he went to the ICE office in July for his annual check-in, they said, you know, basically you're on supervised release and we can take that away and deport you. And so they did. Another example from Muscatine, Noel Lopez, came here when he was 2 years old, charged with a bogus and extremely minor criminal offense, brought into the Washington County Jail. The charges were dropped because they were false to begin with, but because he was brought into the system, ICE put a detainer on him, and now he's being held in the Lynn County Jail, even though he's been here since he was 2 years old. He has no criminal record. He's done nothing wrong. He's done everything the way he was supposed to. A third story from Muscatine, Jesus Hernandez got up one morning 4 in the morning, had to work construction in Iowa City. When it's really hot out, construction workers, a lot of times get up early and work until 11 or 12 and then take a break and then come back at night when it's a little cooler out. So he was up early going to work. 2 people flagged him down and asked if he spoke English. And when he said no, they shot him twice. He managed to drive himself to the fire station in Muscatine. He was airlifted to the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, underwent emergency surgery, had a blood transfusion, was in the hospital for several weeks. And when he got out, he went to the Muscatine County impound to get his car back, and they detained him there. The Muscatine County attorney says that if we don't hold you in jail as a material witness to your own shooting, ICE is going to deport you. Well, that's the hard way. The easy way is when you're a victim of a crime, you can get a special visa called a U visa. The whole point of a U visa is that it protects immigrants who are victims of crime and makes sure that they can have status so that they can testify and help the system solve the crime, help the system punish the perpetrators, whatever. The Muscatine County attorney, is MAGA, is a Trump supporter, and he said, we're not going to give this kid a U visa. We're just going to hold him in jail indefinitely until I get what I want, and he's going to get nothing that he wants. So what's the point of these stories? The families themselves of these 3 men are leading the organizing, are leading the deportation defense campaigns. And that's all that we really do, is we just help families, brainstorm strategies to take action, make sure they have access to legal aid and support, if they need help paying rent, if a loved one's gone or something like that. So I want to tell you one other quick story before I go. It's a story that nobody else has heard yet, except maybe in an email. But last week, we got a call from Homeland Security, and they called 7 of us up to the ICE office in Cedar Rapids and asked for a meeting, and told us that there's going to be more check-ins than normal now. We're starting to see a surge of immigration enforcement across the country. The National Guard's been mobilized. The Iowa State Patrol has been mobilized. And we're going to put a checkpoint up in Cedar Rapids to try to control your crowds, because last month we had over 300 people, clergy, elected officials, standing with immigrant families at their check-in. So we have this big check-in on Tuesday. We think it's going to go like it always does, but there's going to be a lot more heavy-handed presence of the authorities this time. The Department of Homeland Security, the Iowa State Patrol, possibly even the Cedar Rapids Police. We feel called as people of faith to protect and defend immigrants, and we're going to walk with them and bear witness like we always do. And the system can do what they want, but we're going to do what we want. Now that the Center for Worker Justice is closed, Escucha Mi Voz has also been taking on a lot of wage theft cases. We know the Unitarian Church has been a longtime supporter of CWJ and the Catholic Worker, and in this moment of trying times, we certainly encourage and would welcome a more formal partnership with you all. Really appreciate all the work that your congregation has done in this community, and would love to explore further what else we could do together. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to talking to you after this service. Thank you.
In the sanctuary, the ushers will collect the offering. All cash contributions go directly to our community partner agencies and the Community Common Fund. You can follow the instructions on the screen to give online. If you're writing a check, please use the memo line to designate your purpose. In addition to assisting our community partner, you may contribute towards your pledge or make a gift to support our operating expenses. Please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All these we carry in our hearts and in our minds until we are together again. After our service is completed, everyone is invited to gather in the fellowship hall or outside for conversation and community. If you are a newcomer, we hope that you'll grab a snack and then sit at any table so folks can join you for some conversation. Also in the fellowship hall today, Erica Rushley and Kristen Wildensee will be hosting a table where you can learn about the partnership between UUS and Hope for Us. The Hope for Us coaches would like to talk with members to understand congregational dynamics so they can help us learn healthy ways to engage in conflict with one another. They would like to hear from you. So after the service, please take a few minutes to talk with Erica and Kristen to find out why someone might consider connecting with Hope for Us and hear how this process has helped other congregations. Thank you for adding your voice to the conversation and for your commitment to helping UUS grow in love. Finally, our benediction is by the Reverend Norman Naylor. Our eyes and minds now turn to the ordinary, leaving this space made sacred by our presence. Take with you at least some seed of understanding, hope, and courage, and drop it into the confusion of the world. Nourish the seed that it might grow as a tree of life, giving shelter to the weary and hope to the despairing. Be yourself a branch of the tree of life. May it be so. Go in peace.
Thank you.